inventory replenishment, which is part of your inventory basics. Let's see what we have in inventory replenishment. So as I said, in inventory replenishment, which is nothing but your inventory planning methods, okay, we have Minmax, we have reorder planning, we have supply. But as of release 13, we are just supporting Minmax. Okay. So after completion this lesson, you should be able to explain the purpose of Minmax. What are the different sources of supplies and demands within the Minmax planning? And how do we do the setups to perform Minmax either at the organization level or sub-unit level? Okay. And based on the sources set, we will even see that how the system is generating different replenishment orders. So we'll talk about each and everything in detail. So these are the topics which we are going to cover within the replenishment session, about the overview, about the replenishment calculation, about the planning attribute setup, both at the organization level and at the sub-unit level. Then how do we run the request for the Minmax, and there are certain profile options which we can even look into. Now, in the Minmax planning, the minimum and the maximum levels are set for a particular item, okay, and these are all set based on the intuition and based on the experience a person have. We don't have any automated system or process wherein system can decide for a particular item that this should be the minimum quantity and this should be the maximum quantity. It is based on your experience only. And Minmax planning is typically used to control the low value inventory items that do not need great control. And to perform sub-unit level Minmax planning for an item, you must specify the item sub-unit level minimum and maximum quantities. To perform the Minmax planning at the organization level, you have to set the attributes at the organization level. So whenever the quantity of a particular item goes below the minimum quantity which you have set, system sees this is the candidate for a replenishment, and how much to replenishment is based upon the maximum quantity which you have set and the on-hand quantity which you have in the organization or at the sub-unit level. So different sources and supplies, sources for the supply and demand within the Minmax planning is your inventory, your purchasing, your manufacturing, and your order management. So additional considerations: the Minmax replenishment processing uses current on-hand balance in the inventory. Okay, and in addition, the optional features that allow to view the on-hand order balances that affect supplies and demand. And on order balances can be impacted by orders in inventory, purchasing, order management, and manufacturing. You should order when the following is true, right? So, or rather, the system orders automatically when the following is true. When the on-hand quantity minus demand plus the quantity on the order is less than the minimum quantity which you have set for the item, then the item becomes a candidate just for the replenishment. The quantity on order is the sum of purchase order quantities, requisition quantities, and in-transit shipments. It also includes work orders as supply at the organization level. Quantity on order represents supplies that you have not yet received in your organizations. The system calculates demand quantities by using information from the following sources: the sales orders and the transfer orders. Now, the calculation. How does system calculates? When to replenish, we know that the moment the quantity or the on-hand of the item goes below the minimum quantity, considering all the supplies and demands at that moment. That is, when to order. How much to order is dependent upon what maximum quantity you have set. So there is an example given over here. Let's say the maximum quantity which you have set for an item is 16, okay, and the minimum quantity you have set is 10, and the on-hand quantity is 8 as of now. So what happens? Because the minimum quantity is set as 10 and the on-hand is only 8, it is a candidate for replenishment. Now this is going to order. Now it has to order. How much to order is dependent upon your maximum quantity. You have set the maximum quantity as 16 minus whatever on-hand quantity you have as of now. 8 is your on-hand quantity. 16 minus 8. 8 is the new replenishment order which system will suggest you. So this is the calculation for how much to order. Order quantity is maximum quantity minus total available quantity on. The attributes, once you have set either at the organization level or at the subunitary level for the min-max, then you have to run a particular report. The name of the report is print min-max planning report. So you can run it on demand or you can even schedule this particular report. Okay, so whenever there are items which falls below the minimum and maximum quantity or minimum quantity, system will consider all those items and will show you in the report that these are the items which are below their minimum quantity, and it will also generate the replenishment orders for all such items in the respective applications. Setting the attributes at the organization level, you can set the source, you can set the reorder quantities. In the item level, you can set the planning method, whether it is min-max or not planned. Okay. Then make by code, what is the minimum maximum quantity, what is the minimum and maximum order quantities, MOQs, your FLM, fixed lot size multiplier, built-in WIP, and what are the different sources. So once the item goes below the minimum quantity, where do I get the replenishment from? What should be the source of the replenishment? Either it could be an organization, meaning I am getting the replenishment from some other organization. Either it could be subunitary, meaning that I am getting the replenishment from some other subunitary within the same organization. Or it could be a supplier, meaning system has to generate a purchase requisition for you. We also honor, our system also honors the lead times, like your pre-processing, post-processing and post-processing lead times. If you have set, accordingly all those dates will be get calculated and stamped on all those replenishment orders. If you have to set the planning attributes at the subunitary level, so you have to go to manage subunitary task and make sure that you enable min-max checkbox there, and accordingly we can decide the source, whether you want to replenish it from an organization, from a subunitary or a supplier. Then you can set the minimum and the maximum quantity. What is the minimum and maximum order quantities, which are nothing but your order modifiers, your FLM, fixed lot size multiplier, and you can optionally even set the lead times like pre-processing, processing and post-processing lead times, which will get honored while the dates are getting populated on those orders. So once you have set the attributes for the item either at the organization level or at the subunitary level, then you can generate or you can run the report, a run min-max planning report. So based on the sources which you have set and the attributes, system is going to generate a transfer order or a replenishment movement request if the source is inventory or organization. It is going to generate a purchase requisition if the source is supplier. Okay, and it is going to generate a work order if the source is organization and built-in WIP is yes, make by code is make, and you also have a work definition defined. If the source is subunitary, system is going to generate a movement request. The profile option. So this is the report, not the profile option. This is the report which you have to run to generate the Minmax report as well as generate the replenishment order. It is print Minmax planning report. And when it is generating a purchase requisition or a movement request, so you can decide the order which is getting generated should be either in a pre-approved state or an incomplete state. So if it is in pre-approved state, means it can directly take it for, we can take it directly for further proceedings. If it is incomplete, then you may have to send it for proper approval first and then take it further. So this profile option is going to decide the order which is getting generated should be either in incomplete or in pre-approved state. So this is the summary. Let's go into the environment and see how do I set the attributes at the organization level, at the subunitary level, and how do I run a particular report and see the details. So what I have done is I have already created one item called demo Minmax item. So let me just show you that item which I have created. So I went to product information management. Within the taskbar, go to manage items. In this, query your item. So I'm just going to query my item demo, and within 002 organization, just show me search. So there you are. So this is the item which I want, which I've just created. Within the specifications, under planning tab, if I want to set the planning method, Minmax, reorder or supplier, I can decide that. So if I want to run the Minmax planning at organization level, I will set Minmax planning, either make by code, and then the replenishment source, either organization, supplier, or subunitary, and accordingly give these values. Provide the minimum quantity, maximum quantity, and any other order modifiers if required. Your FLMs, okay, your minimum order quantity, maximum order quantities, FTS, and all that. This is for organization level. So if I want to do at the subunitary level, how do I do that? So go back to your setup and maintenance, which you have already seen in your FSM lesson, then how to do the setups using the FSM, right? So go to your setup and maintenance, go to the offering. So here you can search it for your offering of your manufacturing and supply material management. And within this, you can search the task, manage subunitaries and locators. Search it. So manage subunitary and locators is one of the tasks. Select that. So here within manage subunitaries and locators, select a store, any of the subunitaries. So I'm selecting stores. First and foremost, you associate the item which you have created to the subunitary. So manage item subunitaries. I'm associating my item which I have just created, which is nothing but demo Minmax. Search. Now I'm associating and I'm just enabling this. So I'm enabling this item at the subunitary level for Minmax planning. And what is the subunitary name? Stores. What is the minimum quantity? Let's say 10 is my minimum quantity, and maximum quantity I want to maintain 50. I'm not providing any modifiers. And from the sourcing perspective, I said subunitary is my sourcing. And where do I want to replenish it from? I want to replenish it from some other subinventory in the same organization. So I will take completed. Just say save and close. So minimum quantity is 10, maximum quantity is 50, and I want a replenishment through my another subinventory, type subinventory. Save and close. That's all. So you have seen the setup. If I want to do at the organization level, go into the organization item screen and provide the setups there. If I want to consider or do this Minmax plan at subinventory level, this is how the attributes are set at subinventory level. So once that is done, click on done, come out of the screen. Now let's go to home and let's see what is the on-hand quantity for this particular item. So how do I go there? So go to inventory management. Within the taskbar, manage item quantities. Search for your item. Search for your item demo Minmax. And let's see what is the on-hand quantity for this particular item in this organization. Just say search. So I have 110 on-hand quantity for this item in this organization as such, but I want to see within the subinventories. So in store subinventory, the on-hand quantity is 10, and in the completed subinventory, the on-hand quantity is 100. And what we have set at the subinventory level, we have set it as 10 is the minimum quantity and 10 is already there. So if I run the Minmax planning report, it is not going to pick this as for replenishment because the quantity is sufficient. So what we can do over here is go back to setup and maintenance, and let's change the minimum quantity from 10 to 20 for this particular combination. So go back, manage, subinventory, locators, select that task. So within the stores, we have already created one for that particular item. Here you are, just click on edit. This is the edit button. Select that particular record, select on edit. So minimum quantity we have set is 10, whereas the on-hand is also 10. So it is not going to suggest any replenishment because the quantity is sufficient for that. If I say minimum quantity is 20 and now the on-hand is 10, it will become a candidate for my replenishment. Right? So we are through with the data. Now once the data is set, either at the organization or subinventory level, now we can run the print Minmax plan report. So how do I do that? Go to the navigator on the left hand side, and here you have schedule processes. If the schedule process is not available here, you can just click on the more link and then you can see schedule processes on the left hand side. Click on schedule processes and then submit a new process. Search for the print Minmax report. So if print Minmax is wildcard search. So there you are. Select that and hit on OK. Now it is going to open all the parameters for me. So these are the different parameters which we can set before running the program, or as I said, we can even schedule this program as per our will. So I want to run this report for 002 organization. I want to sort it by inventory items. So I can leave it blank. So it will run for all the Minmax items in this organization. Or I can just, to make it simple, I can give my item which I want to run it for. So I'm just giving my item. Planning level, so whether it is supplementary organization, based on the attributes which you have set, either at the organization level or supplementary level, or attributes are set. But while running the report or the program, you can decide which attributes system has to consider to run this. Either it has to consider the attributes at the item organization level, or it has to set the, uh, uh, or it has to look into the attributes set at item supplementary level. So this is where it is going to decide whether I am doing the min-max planning at the organization level or a supplementary level. In my case, I am going to run at supplementary level. Item selection, all plan items. You can optionally provide the supplementary as well for which you want to run or keep it blank. Okay. Then demand cutoff date. So I will give the same date. So how much of demand you want to consider for the system to consider, and the set off at 0. Similarly, supply, how much days of supply you want to consider as a supply. You can decide that. Okay. So I'm not considering anything, any post demand or post supply. Everything whatever is as of today, I'm considering that. And anyway, we have just created the item, so I know there is no demand and supply for that, but that is an option available if it is an ongoing business and you have a lot of demands. So up to what date you want to consider the demand, up to what date supplies which are coming you want to consider them. And then this particular field, restock yes or no. So if I set it yes, what system does is it generates the report as well as it generates the replenishment order based on the source type which you have selected. If it is no, system is going to generate only a report showing you that these are the items which are under minimum quantity and what is the reorder, what is the quantity which you have to order, but it will not generate any replenishment order. But if you want to generate the replenishment order along with the report, then you have to set as restock as yes. Then you can optionally decide whether you want to unreserve all the orders, you want to consider them, you want to include the supplies which are there in the interface, net reserved orders, include non-nettable supplementaries, and so on and so forth. So you can decide all those things, whether you want to consider all those demand and supplies of different nature in this particular report or not. So once the parameters are set, then you can just say submit. So it has submitted. So this is the program number. So once I refresh, I can see that the program is running in the background. And once that is completed, I can see the report output and see that system would had created a movement request for me with a quantity of 50 minus 10, that is 40, because the minimum quantity we have set as 20, the maximum quantity we have set as 50, whereas the on hand was only 10. So as per the calculation which I have explained you, maximum quantity minus on hand quantity which is there. So 50 minus 10, 40 should suggest me as a movement request. So this is done. Let me see the report output first. So come down here. So you can see the report. Just want to make it big. I can view the output in any of this format. Just download this with. So there you are. So these were the parameters which we have set for this particular header information, all the parameters. It was the batch name which internally got selected. There you are. The minimum quantity was 20. The maximum quantity which we have set was 50. On hand was 10. Availability was 10. And the reorder quantity or the quantity which has to be replenishment is 40. And what system has generated? System would have generated a movement request for me. So let's go into the system once again and see where is my movement request which got generated. So go back home, click on home, go to your inventory management. Within the task drawer, you can see manage movement request, the task and query whether the movement request has been created or not, and for what, how much quantity. So I can search with any of these criterias. Type, created by, movement request number, if you know all that stuff. If you don't know anything, at least you know the item number, so you can even search with that. So any of these criteria you can search. So there you are. This movement request number is 189790, created today with a quantity of 40. And if you want to see the details, you can click on that and say, show me the details. So you can see what is the quantity as per the profile option. It is pre-approved. Who created that? What is the reference source type? What is the destination? Okay, so this is my source subinventory from where it has to replenish, and this is the store subinventory where it has to go. So this is how system has created the movement request for me. Similarly, based on the source of organization or supplier, system would have created a transfer order or a purchase requisition in the respective applications. Fine. And in the session of inventory transactions, we have already seen how to transact a movement request. The same thing, you can transact even this and see that. So this is about inventory replenishment. And the next topic which we are going to talk about is inventory accuracy.